Hi everybody, this is your weekly horoscope for Monday the 3rd of July going through until Sunday the 9th of July. And my horoscopes are based on London time, so that's UK time, so please take the time difference into account. Now, this week is going to be a lot easier than last week, so immediately that's really good news. On Monday the 3rd of July, we have the moon in Scorpio. It trines the sun in Cancer, so it forms a positive relationship with the sun in Cancer. Happy birthday, Cancer, by the way. When the sun is in Cancer, it's really focused on the emotional side of things, family, loyalty, nurturing other people. And the moon also forms a relationship with Neptune in Pisces, which adds more water. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, she's in Taurus at the moment, so that is very sensual and very focused on the physical side of things with the body. And that sextiles Chiron in Pisces. So Monday is a highly emotionally charged day, especially when it comes to personal relationships. There may be a tendency to take things the wrong way or for things to become overly intense to the point that there's some sort of misunderstanding. Also, the thing to avoid on this day is to go back into the past. The worst thing to do in a relationship I've found is if you're having an argument or a disagreement about something, a lot of people start arguing about one thing and then the argument evolves and you start bringing loads of other things into the argument from the past. This is the kind of thing to avoid, especially here on Monday the 3rd, because there is the potential for that and for that to damage the nature of the relationship. It's much more positive to focus on the physical side of things, and that just doesn't mean, you know, staying in bed together all day. It could mean going on a trip or doing some sightseeing. If you're in a lucky position where you have some free time here on Monday, maybe going out for a meal, going to the cinema, doing something together that's practical is going to bring you together. And that's the best way to use the energy of Monday. Now on Tuesday the 4th of July, we have really good news because Venus, the planet of love and beauty, goes into Gemini and stays in Gemini for the next 6 weeks. Now, Venus has had a tough time this year, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, because she's been retrograding, and she's been retrograding between Aries and Taurus, and she's been going back and forth between those two, and she spent a lot of time in Aries this year, and Venus doesn't like being in Aries very much. Aries is a sign which is about overcoming obstacles and moving forward and progressing, and Venus isn't usually that aggressive. This is the first time that the planet Venus goes into Gemini now this year, and that's much lighter and that's much more fun. Gemini is about communication, it's about exploration, it's about walking through different doorways to discover and to explore, to laugh, to have fun, to be interested in conversations, to discover new things. So with this shift in Venus, things become much lighter. So it's now like, because it was in Cancer, so that was very intense and emotional. Now in Gemini, it gets much lighter. It's the difference between really being a husband and wife, Venus in Cancer, and now two people who are 17 and going to a party together. That's Venus in Gemini. It's much lighter, it's much less responsible, and there's much more of a positive kind of impermanent, irresponsible even energy associated to it, which really allows you to lighten things up and to have a good time. So this is a really positive change for Venus from Cancer into Gemini, as now communication becomes much lighter, much more fun and enjoyable. So, you know, maybe you found yourself over the last couple of weeks counseling people endlessly and saying, there, it'll be all right, and people having really difficult things. I've talked about this a lot, about people requiring help and being able to accept help. That's kind of the season we've been in. With Venus going into Gemini now, it's much more about having fun together rather than helping each other all the time. On Wednesday, the 5th of July, the moon goes into Sagittarius at 9 minutes past 5 in the morning, And Mercury, the communication planet, goes into Leo. That's amazing. So there's a much greater sense of optimism and expansion involved here now on Wednesday. Mercury going into Leo is really important because Mercury was in Cancer. That meant that the communication planet again was very heavy, and it was looking at the feelings and the emotional side of things, and family and loyalty and caring. Okay, that's really serious, and it's about really genuine, authentic feelings. Mercury in Leo is public. Mercury loves to be in the spotlight. It loves to communicate loudly. It loves to be seen globally. And that is much more fun. And that is like literally going from the domestic sphere to the public sphere with Mercury going from Cancer into Leo. You're leaving home and you're going out into the world. So immediately on Wednesday, there's a much greater sense of optimism and expansion involved here because of this shift with Mercury. The last few weeks may have felt emotional, and now you're going to be looking for new adventures and new ways of expressing yourself. So this is really good news. So there's a nice shift here on Wednesday, the 5th of July. Now, moving on to Thursday, the 6th of July, we have the Sagittarius moon sextiling Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter is the lucky planet, remember, and in Libra it's about other people. So good luck comes via other people. And the moon also squares Neptune in Pisces. So very simply, Thursday is a day to realize your dreams via other people and your dreams about other people. So if you have a dream of getting into some sort of organization and you need someone to make a recommendation, you may find this person today and and convince them to recommend you. Or it could be that you have a dream of really going up to this woman who you've had your eye on for the last few months and speaking to her and actually saying, would you like to have a drink with me, or would you like to go out on a date with me? It's that kind of thing. It's taking your dreams and making them a reality, especially if these dreams involve other people. And most dreams will involve other people because no man is an island, and everything we do in life really involves other people. So on Thursday, the 6th of July, make sure you give yourself the opportunity to fulfill these dreams by being out and about and by being around others. You won't be able to do this if you're at home. On Friday, the 7th of July, we have the moon going into Capricorn at 5:46. So again, we've got a shift. Sagittarius is exploration and optimism and looking forward to things. The moon going into Capricorn now is about work and being much more serious. So this is a week when we've had lots of shifts from the emotional to the public and light, from the heavy to the light, from the domestic to the outer. There have been lots of kind of contradictions. This is a big contradiction. The moon in Capricorn is much more serious than it is in Sagittarius. Mercury in Leo sextiles Venus in Gemini, and that's where the lightness comes from. So the moon in Capricorn says, I want to work, I want to make a contribution. If I want something in life, I've got to work for it, I've got to work hard. Mercury in Leo says, I want everyone to hear what I'm saying because I'm a genius and I want to expand and express myself. And Venus in Gemini wants to have fun. So we've got a contradiction here on Friday between a moon saying that you should just be diligent and work hard, and these two other planets saying, go out and enjoy yourself. So that creates balance with this moon in the serious sign of Capricorn and Mercury and Venus creating the potential for real fun. If the moon wasn't in Capricorn on this day and we just had Mercury in Leo and Venus in Gemini, that could mean that you go overboard and you become too excessive. That Capricorn moon really keeps things grounded, and it means that you can have a good time, you can enjoy yourself, but you don't go, it's not too much of a good thing, you know? You don't overstep the mark. So enjoy yourself on Friday. There's really no risk of you overdoing it. The moon keeps you kind of safe. On Saturday, the 8th of July, we have this Capricorn moon still opposing the Sun in Cancer and conjuncting Pluto in Capricorn. So you're going to have really strong feelings about certain practical realities in your life, and those are going to become the focus here on Saturday. You get to decide whether you want to make changes or not. This is interesting because we're coming up to the full moon in Capricorn here now on Sunday, and the Saturday and Sunday energy is very much linked. So let me move on to Sunday and give you an overview of what this is. So on Sunday the 9th of July, we do have that full moon in Capricorn. I've made a separate video on this. Please watch that video, because this full moon in Capricorn is very unusual because it's got Pluto sitting on top of it, and it's about transformation and change. But we also have Mars in Cancer, so emotionally you're a little bit frustrated. And we have Saturn in Sagittarius, which means that the path forward is somewhat fuzzy and somewhat unclear. So in that separate video on the full moon, I go into detail about how to find clarity, how to move forward, and how to make transformative changes without transforming the wrong thing. Because transformation and change is great, but if you're changing the thing that really works already and that doesn't need changing, and you keep the thing that's a total disaster and that doesn't work and you don't change that, then that's not right. So have a look at that separate video. It will give you a sense of how to make the most of this full moon in Capricorn, because it is a very positive full moon that does allow you to make positive changes in your life. But you've got to go about this the right way so that you avoid errors which could come up. So I have made a separate video on this. It's a full moon that'll urge you to make changes. So you're being urged to make changes. On going back to Saturday, you also had the feeling that you wanted to make changes, and that it was really up to you to decide whether you want to make those changes or not. Okay, so I'm saying that you will have a strong urge and desire to make changes. Before you do that, please watch that separate video on the full moon in Capricorn, because making changes is something that you shouldn't be done on a whim. It should be thought out. It should be something that is planned. That isn't just, let's see how it works out. Let's just see if we get lucky. That's not the kind of changes we want. So that video will show you and tell you how to make the changes in a positive way, so that you're making changes in your life which puts you in a positive direction and which puts you on the right path, instead of creating a mess here over the weekend, which you then have to tidy up next week. So you can save yourself a lot of time here. So that's what I get for this week. I hope it gives you some idea of what you'll be working with. It looks like a really positive week. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. And what I can do is I can draw up your birth chart by looking at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. And that allows me to draw up your natal chart. And I can see from that what your life purpose is, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what your vocational aptitudes are. And by looking at your progress chart and transits, I can also see what's coming up in future via your, in terms of your love life, your career, family, spirituality. And if you're thinking of moving and you're considering several different locations, then astrocartography is really good, because I can look at where these planets were moving over the Earth at the time you were born, and what spirit each part of the world has for you and how that impacts you. So if you're interested in that, then please get in touch via my website, gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab. If you like my videos and you want to support me, then please click on the subscribe button, and I'll speak to you next week.